Alright, so what we're dealing with today are literal equations. Which literal equation is just a fancy word for a formula. Which you guys have been using a lot of formulas throughout school. Most common would be your area formulas. Like if we're doing area of a triangle, that would be A equals B times H over 2. Things along those lines. So what makes it a formula is the fact that there's more than one variable. So in our area formula, you've got an A, a B, and an H. So when we're going to rearrange these formulas, as it's called, it's very similar steps to when you're solving an equation. So over here on the left side, when we solve this equation, we would start by adding the 6, and then we would divide by 2, so we get a final answer of x equals 8, which I think most of you can do in your sleep by this point in time, and probably most of you did that before I got to it. So the same things happen when you have letters. It's a little confusing because you can't actually combine things like we did with the 16. We actually added the 10 and the 6 to get you 16. But over here, we're going to follow the same steps. As I solve for x, I'm still going to add or subtract first. So in this case, I'm adding a b over to the other side. It's just the difference is I can't actually add a c and a b. So after we added the b over to both sides, we would then go ahead and divide by a. So those cancel out, and we're left with x equals c plus b all over a. And that's what a lot of kids tend to complain about, is you don't get one nice answer like our 8 over here. You have just some different letters together that you can't actually combine. So no, you can't actually divide c by a or b by a. You just have to leave it written in that form. So let's try some examples down here. So if you all remember, Miss N writes DCV, our dogs crap violently. You still want to follow that same pattern. So we want to look first, do we have anything to distribute? And we don't. We don't have any parentheses here. Do we have any like terms to combine? And again, we don't, because we have a whole bunch of letters. So now I'm going to go for my x. Just like with our numbers, we would add or subtract anything away from it first. So I'm going to subtract my z. So I get xy equals negative z. And then I'm going to divide by y, because right now x and y are being multiplied. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I divide by y, and I get x equals negative z divided by y. And that one's done. So then over here, again, we're solving for x, but this time the x is inside of our parentheses. So if we still follow our DCV, we want to distribute first. So we're going to distribute the 3. So we get 3h plus 3x all over 8y. And that's our first step, which doesn't look like we've done much in our quest to get x by itself, but we really have. So our next thing is we've got to get rid of that fraction. So if you remember, this is being divided by 8y, so that's why I want to multiply both sides times 8y. So over here on the left, we get 8yg equals, and then on the right side, these cancel. So we're left with 3h plus 3x. So then again, still solving for x, so I want to get rid of our 3h. So then we get 8yg, because that's all one term now, minus your 3h equals your 3x. And then our final step would be divide by 3. So then we have x by itself, and we have 8yg minus 3h all over 3. That's our final answer. So that one was a little bit more difficult than the other ones we've done so far. But if you just take your time, go step by step, you'll be able to get through it no problems. And then number 3, we put a star here because this one's kind of tricky. You have to think back to what you did a little bit last year. X is with both the A and the B. So we have to do some Gcf factoring here. So what that means is I put an x, and then I put one set of parentheses, and then it equals a 4. So with our Gcf factoring, what we're doing is we're taking the x away from the A and the B. So when I take it away from the A and the B, I'm left with A plus B inside of our parentheses. And again, it's x times the parentheses, so I want to divide by a plus b. So that cancels on the left. We're left with x. And on the right, we have 4 over a plus b. Listen, those ones are tricky. We're going to see a lot of those ones, so get used to the fact that you're going to have to do some Gcf factoring a little bit. And that's only when you have the variable with two different things. So if we take a look at our two examples on the back, again, you should be thinking BCV. So we want to distribute the 2 first, so we get 2L plus 2W. Then we're looking to combine like terms, but we don't have any to combine at this point in time. So now I'm going to go for my W, get my W on its own. So I'm going to subtract 2L from both sides. I get P minus 2L equals 2W. And then I want to divide by the 2, so the W is entirely on its own. So we get P minus 2L all over 2 equals W. And then our last one here, I like to rewrite the equation because this one's written kind of small. So we're trying to get our h on its own. So there's our h. I got to get rid of the 1/3 and the capital B. So we have to get rid of the 1/3 first. You always want to get rid of any fractions you have first. And we do that by flipping it and multiplying. So we're going to multiply both sides times 3 over 1, which 3 over 1 is just a 3, so that's why I get 3b. And then the 1/3 and the 3 over 1 cancel, so I have big BH. Again, those two are being multiplied together, big B times h. So I have to divide in order to get h on its own. So my final answer is 3v over big B.